Dear Radiant Leo, bold soul of the zodiac. Let me ask you something. What if the numbers you're about to hear were never just numbers, but sacred keys, codes sent from the universe to awaken a fortune that already lives inside your field? What if they weren't predictions, but activations? What if this was the moment where it all begins? You're not here by accident. You're here because something within you already sensed a shift, a sign, a quiet stirring that said, I'm ready. And when a Leo declares readiness, the cosmos listens. This video isn't just a horoscope, it's a signal. A confirmation. A doorway into the next season of your life. From June 15th to 20th, 6 powerful numbers are aligning with your personal energy field, and I'm here to help you interpret their deeper meanings across finances, health, cosmic timing, and spiritual clarity. Why now? Because Venus is activating your second house of value, self-worth, and material blessing, while the Sun, your ruling planet, is preparing to illuminate new ground in your chart. That isn't a random alignment. It's a divine invitation. The kind of invitation only a Leo can rise to with presence, power, and purpose. And let's be honest, Leo, you've been feeling it. The sense that the world is shifting beneath your feet. That your efforts deserve more. That something abundant is forming in the silence. This isn't a time to hustle harder, it's a time to align deeper. To remember your magnetic core, your innate worthiness, and your golden ability to call in wealth not by chasing, but by radiating. Each of these 6 numbers carries an energetic imprint, and one of them has likely been showing up in your life already in receipts, timestamps, dreams, or passing glances. That's no coincidence. That's alignment. That's your confirmation. So as we begin, I invite you to ground into this moment not as a seeker of fortune, but as someone already walking the path of divine abundance. Leave a comment below that says, I claim the energy of these sacred numbers and welcome wealth into my life now. By writing that, you're not asking for luck, you're reaffirming that luck is already moving through you. And before we go further, let me take a brief moment to express my deepest gratitude for your presence. Every like, every share, every comment you leave, every subscription you offer brings you closer to this soul-led community we call Eternal Mindfulness. Your support fuels this channel and allows us to continue delivering transformational messages that awaken, guide, and empower. And trust me, Leo, you'll want to stay with me until the very end today, because what the universe is revealing for you right now is nothing short of spectacular. So tell me, loyal Leos, what drew you here today? Was it a whisper from your higher self? A spark of curiosity? A sign you couldn't ignore? Whatever it was, I honor it. And I honor you. Let's walk together now into the heart of these 6 sacred numbers. One of them may just hold the vibration that changes everything. Are you ready? As we begin our journey through the first sacred number aligned with your current energetic rhythm, Leo, something quiet yet profound stirs in the background, a shift, a reconnection to a thread you may have once dropped but never truly lost. Number 17 arrives like a lantern in the dark, not to demand that you rush ahead, but to remind you that there is still light available, even in moments when you thought the flame had long gone out. It carries the soft radiance of hope, the kind that doesn't shout, but gently waits at the door, asking only for your presence. The vibrational essence of 17 reflects the spirit of the star in Tarot card, not just of blind optimism, but of sacred recalibration. It comes after the tower, after chaos, after restructuring. That is what makes its message so tender and so truthful. This number doesn't promise flashy miracles or overnight wealth. Instead, it invites you into a deeper relationship with restoration. With the idea that abundance can return, that what you thought was lost, be it opportunity, resources, or belief in yourself, has simply been waiting for the right conditions to re-emerge. Cosmically, this number draws strength from the current trine between Jupiter and the Sun, an astrological alignment that blends expansion with identity. It signals a time when what you offer the world can be seen again, this time with clarity and greater reception. Projects or passions you once set aside may come knocking again, not because you chased them, but because now, you're ready to hold them with steadier hands. There's a wisdom in the pause you've taken, and 17 recognizes that. It brings what aligns with who you've become, not who you were before. In the realm of finances, this number acts like a magnet for second chances. Perhaps a forgotten account reveals unexpected value, or someone reconsiders your worth and reaches out with an opportunity. But this isn't about random luck. It's about the quiet alignment you've been nurturing in small, consistent ways, when you simplified your spending, forgave yourself for past decisions, or simply learned to trust that you are more than your bank balance. 17 is proof that energetic readiness precedes visible gain. It's a number that rewards inner steadiness. There is also a physical resonance to this number. The body, much like the spirit, holds memory both of effort and of exhaustion. In moments of prolonged stress, your adrenal system works overtime, leading not only to fatigue but to disconnection from your own joy. The rebalancing energy of 17 whispers, take care of the source before you chase the stream. Simple rituals: drinking citrus-infused water in the morning, stretching before checking your phone, allowing your body to breathe before you ask it to perform. These acts recalibrate the nervous system. They prepare the field so energy can return, not in a jolt, but in a sustainable flow. The color amethyst purple aligns with this frequency. Not just for beauty, but for its symbolic power to purify, soothe, and elevate. Surrounding yourself with this color through clothing, flowers, or even light can remind your body and mind of its natural rhythm. A rhythm not dictated by pressure, but by trust. In many ancient paths of inner clarity, it's said that what belongs to you doesn't need to be forced. It will return when you are truly ready to receive without clinging. And perhaps that's the most beautiful lesson number 17 offers, that hope is not something you reach for, but something that gently meets you when your breath softens, your shoulders lower, and your heart once again becomes a place where blessings know how to land. Stay open, Leo. The invitation is already unfolding. When number 5 enters your path, Leo, it rarely does so quietly. It carries the vibration of motion, of friction, of momentum breaking through what has grown too still. In numerology, 5 is the number of change, but not change for its own sake. It speaks of necessary disruption, of transformation that emerges when a system has outgrown its current structure. And for you, with Mars now illuminating your 10th house, the house of career, status, and public action, this isn't just about change on the surface. It's about reshaping how you show up in the world, and more importantly, how you respond when the world begins to shift around you. The energy of Mars is raw and direct. It doesn't tiptoe or negotiate, it acts. But this placement, when balanced, doesn't require chaos. It teaches that movement aligned with clarity creates growth without collapse. That means if you've been sensing tension in your job, in your leadership roles, or in how you define success, this tension may not be a threat, it may be a mirror. A mirror that shows you what's ready to evolve. Number 5 thrives in environments that are open to experimentation. This could mean you're being nudged to reassess your current financial strategies. Maybe a familiar source of income is slowing down, or unexpected expenses are pushing you out of your routine. But instead of resisting or tightening your grip, this is your opportunity to pivot. You're being asked to adapt, not abandonto. See your skills not as fixed tools, but as living expressions that can be used in new ways. Something you've always known how to each, create, organize, guide may suddenly reveal itself as a source of new abundance. But you must be willing to see beyond the discomfort of change to recognize the door that's already cracked open. In the body, change often shows up first as restlessness or imbalance. Your digestion may feel more sensitive now. Your appetite may shift. These signals are not random, they are invitations. The body is incredibly wise. It resists rigidity and responds best when given rhythms that breathe. Instead of resisting these changes, flow with them. Try foods that support ease, not intensity. Sip warm water with lemon in the morning, chew your meals with intention, and allow movement like dancing, walking, or mindful stretching to release the inner heat that Mars may stir. You don't have to overhaul your lifestyle. You only have to listen more closely to what your body is asking for, and meet it with care. Emotionally, the arrival of 5 can stir internal winds. You may feel more impatient than usual, more reactive or uncertain. And yet, when approached with mindfulness, this can be a powerful training ground for inner freedom. There is a teaching that says, the wind cannot uproot a tree that has learned how to sway. This is your time to become that tree. Not by clinging to stillness, but by learning how to move with what is gracefully, intentionally, without fear. Let the discomfort be your teacher, not your enemy. Let it show you where you still hold on too tightly, and where more space can actually bring you peace. The color orange resonates deeply with this kind of change. It holds both the fire of Mars and the joy of emergence. Surround yourself with it when you need courage, when you need to remember that change does not mean loss, it means life is happening. And you, dear Leo, are not meant to stay the same. You are meant to evolve in ways that surprise even yourself. So if this moment feels unstable, remember, that's only because the foundation you're standing on is about to become something stronger, something more in tune with who you're becoming. This is not the end of your certainty, it's the beginning of your flexibility. And within that, the real wealth begins to grow. Following the momentum of change that number 5 stirred, the arrival of number 11 invites us into stillness, not the stillness of passivity, but the stillness that listens, that notices, that gently allows truth to rise without force. This is the kind of awareness that doesn't need external confirmation, because it is rooted in inner clarity. Number 11 is a master number in numerology, carrying the vibration of insight, intuitive perception, and the delicate art of knowing without needing to explain. It is a number that whispers, not shouts. It doesn't demand attention, it arrives when we make enough space within ourselves to actually receive what is already present. Right now, with the new moon unfolding in Gemini, the sign of thought, language, and the dualities of perception, we are being given a cosmic opportunity to rewire the way we interpret what comes through our inner world. New moons are beginnings, and in Gemini, they initiate conversations, especially the ones we have with ourselves. But unlike the fast-talking surface of the mind, number 11 moves beneath it. It invites us to trust the quiet knowing, the pulse of awareness that surfaces not in the noise of doing, but in the silence of simply being. This moment, Leo, may offer you ideas that seem unusual or impractical at first. They may come to you in dreams, or flash briefly across your mind while you're brushing your teeth or walking alone. They may appear during moments of emotional softness or stillness, those tender pauses in your day where nothing is expected of you. Don't dismiss them. Often, what arises in silence holds the exact vibration needed to open new pathways, yes, even financially. One of the most misunderstood truths is that wealth does not always begin from effort. Sometimes it begins from attention. From the willingness to write down that strange phrase you woke up with, or follow the pull to revisit an old hobby you used to love. These are not distractions. They are messages from the deeper layers of your own consciousness, where the seeds of your next season are quietly waiting for light. The practice of silence is essential during this phase, not silence as avoidance, but as a form of presence. A 10-minute walk without your phone. A few breaths with your eyes closed before your morning coffee. Even the simple act of placing your hand on your chest and feeling your body breathe can begin to open the internal doors that number 11 travels through. When we stop filling space with sound and motion, what needs to be heard begins to rise. And often, it's not a voice from outside, it's a soft return to something inside you that's been patiently waiting. There is a well-known teaching that says truth is not found through seeking, but through stopping. Not the kind of stopping that withdraws from life, but the kind that pauses long enough to recognize that what you were looking for was always here, just under the surface. Number 11 reminds us of this gently but firmly. It asks us not to search for signs, but to become the kind of presence that signs naturally move toward. This is a perfect time to wear or surround yourself with soft silvers or pearlescent whites, colors that reflect rather than absorb. They create visual reminders that clarity doesn't come from collecting more, but from refining your attention. Let your space echo that message. Open a window. Light a candle. Clear your desk. Make room in your outer world for your inner world to be heard. And remember, Leo, your power doesn't always need to roar. Sometimes, it's strongest when it listens. And in that quiet, something profound reveals itself, not through effort, but through presence. Let number 11 be the door, and let yourself walk through it, one breath at a time. After the inner quiet stirred by number 11, which asked you to pause and listen inwardly, number 39 arrives like a clear breath of fresh air. It brings structure to insight, motion to stillness, and encourages you to put gentle order to what has been swirling within. The energy of 39 is both grounded and intentional. It blends the creative expansion of number 3 with the wisdom and release of number 9. It's the threshold between what has been expressed and what needs to be let go. And in that transitional space, Leo, you're being offered something rare, clarity that moves with kindness. In the rhythm of your life, this may be the moment where certain choices rise to the surface, not because of pressure, but because of readiness. The kind of readiness that understands the importance of simplifying before calling in more. There is a misconception in modern life that productivity always means addition. But the deeper wisdom, the one that echoes through number 39, reminds us that progress sometimes comes from letting go. Making space. Refining. And most importantly, prioritizing what truly matters now, not what made sense in the past. With Mercury moving in direct motion, your mind is more prepared to reflect calmly, to reorganize gently. You may find yourself reevaluating where your time, money, and energy have been going. Maybe that subscription you forgot about no longer serves you. Maybe your kitchen is filled with items that reflect old versions of yourself, foods that don't nourish, items that don't inspire. These aren't trivial details. They are energetic signatures. Every drawer you clear, every item you release, every category you adjust in your budget, these are signals to the universe that you are ready for what aligns, not just what fills. Financially, 39 is a clearing code. It doesn't demand drastic decisions but encourages thoughtful refinement. Perhaps there's something you've held onto because of a just-in-case mindset, old investments, unused tools, forgotten accounts. This is a beautiful time to review those with eyes that are no longer clouded by scarcity or sentiment. Releasing something that no longer supports your present doesn't mean you failed. It means you've grown. And that growth is fertile ground for new channels of wealth to emerge, ones that are better matched to the person you are becoming. On a physical level, your body may already be mirroring this need for simplicity. Cravings might shift, sleep patterns might ask for adjustment. When we change internally, the body speaks up. If you felt heavy, slow, or foggy, this is a gentle nudge toward detoxification, not just for aesthetics, but to restore vitality. Begin in ways that feel kind. Cut back on sugars, reduce processed food, drink more water before coffee. Clean your kitchen space like it's a sacred corner of your life, because it is. The food you allow in becomes the energy you live with. There's a quiet teaching that says, when you let go of what no longer serves, you do not end something, you begin something real. Number 39 echoes this deeply. You are not being asked to empty your life. You are being invited to shape it with more precision, more care. To look at what you own, what you consume, what you spend, and ask gently, does this still reflect who I am now? The mint green hue associated with 39 holds a vibration of freshness and reset. It reminds the nervous system to exhale. Consider bringing this color into your space, not for decoration, but as a symbol of gentle restoration. A post-it note, a notebook, a plant, a scarf, whatever you choose, let it serve as a reminder, less isn't lacking. Less is where the real light begins to enter. This is not a season of loss, Leo. It is a season of realignment. And what you make space for now, internally, financially, physically, will shape the kind of abundance that feels not only expansive but truly yours. Coming out of the soft clarity of number 39, which invited you to realign and let go, number 1 arrives like a spark, an undeniable pulse that says, it's time to begin. This number carries the energy of motion, of initiative, of becoming. In numerology, 1 is the symbol of leadership and fresh starts, but not in a loud or domineering way. It's the kind of beginning that rises from truth, the kind that follows a long pause of reflection and now calls for movement. Leo, this is your moment to act, not because you're trying to prove something, but because what you've been carrying quietly inside is ready to be shaped by your own hands. The cosmic dance between the Sun, your ruling planet, and Uranus adds unexpected fuel to this moment. It encourages breakthroughs, sparks of insight, and the sudden courage to do the thing you've been putting off. This alignment isn't about force, it's about liberation. It supports you in stepping into a version of yourself that might feel new, but is actually more aligned with your natural essence than anything you've tried before. This is about expressing what's uniquely yours in the most grounded, practical way possible. Maybe you've had an idea resting in the back of your Minda course you want to teach, a service you can offer, a product you've been meaning to share. Perhaps it's been quietly waiting while you tended to other people's needs or doubted whether the timing was right. Number 1 says, the time is now. This is your green light. Not for perfection, but for presence. Not to impress, but to begin. Even small steps count. Starting an online page for your creations. Recording the first video. Sending that message. Putting a price on your skills without shame. These aren't just business moves, they are energetic declarations. They signal to life itself that you are willing to show up fully, and in doing so, you become magnetic to resources, support, and clarity. And don't forget, your body is your most immediate field of creation. If you feel stagnant, tight, or low on drive, get the body moving. Dance for no reason. Stretch with intention. Box, cycle, walk briskly, anything that reconnects you to the physical fire within. Action is a form of healing. When you move with awareness, you remind yourself that you are not stuck. That your life is not something happening to you, but through you. Confidence doesn't have to come first. Action brings it forward. There is a timeless teaching that says the journey begins not when the road is clear, but when the mind stops waiting. Number 1 carries that same teaching. It doesn't promise ease, but it promises growth. It tells you that the path becomes real only when you take the first step. And that step doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be true. Let the color ruby red guide you this week. It's not just vibrant, it's grounding. It reminds your nervous system that taking bold action is safe. Let it be in your clothing, your workspace, your journal. Let it be a subtle but powerful reminder that now is not a time for waiting. It's a time for doing, gently and bravely. As you begin, don't chase certainty. Trust your clarity. Begin with what you know, even if it's only a whisper. The rest will meet you along the way. And remember, Leo, no one else can walk this beginning like you. Because the fire inside you, it was made for movement. Let it lead. Let it rise. Let it become. As we arrive at the close of this journey together, Leo, take a gentle breath in. Let it remind you that you are not chasing the light, you are carrying it. The numbers you've received today, 17, 5, 11, 39, 1, and 33, are not arbitrary. They are not abstract. They are mirrors. Each one is a reflection of the energy you've already cultivated and the wisdom you're beginning to reclaim. They are reminders that your rhythm matters, your choices matter, and your presence, fully felt, fully lived, has always been enough to draw in the very abundance you've been seeking. You don't need to start over to move forward. You don't need to be perfect to begin. The life you're creating isn't built on grand leaps, it's built on mindful steps, repeated with grace. Every time you choose clarity over chaos, presence over distraction, authenticity over expectation, you deepen your alignment with the life you were always meant to lead. Think back on each of the numbers. Did one of them echo something deep inside you? Maybe number 1 whispered that it's time to finally act on that long-held idea. Maybe 33 reminded you of the joy that arises when you give from the heart. Or maybe 5 nudged you to stop fearing change and start seeing it as a doorway. Whatever stirred within you, hold it close. It's not a coincidence. It's your sign. It's the universe reflecting what your soul already knows. And now, I'd like to ask you something, not out of obligation, but out of sincerity. What will you carry forward from today? What small shift can you make that honors what you've just uncovered? Will you begin your morning with 10 minutes of silence? Will you revisit that forgotten creative idea and give it breath again? Will you make space, not just in your schedule, but in your mind, for the kind of abundance that arrives without pressure? Let your answers be lived, not just thought. Let them move from insight into practice. Because true transformation doesn't come from knowing. It comes from embodying. You are not here to simply consume inspiration. You are here to become it. Not through force, but through presence. Not through comparison, but through connection with yourself, with the moment, with what truly matters. And if something in this video spoke to you, if even one sentence made your heart pause and your breath soften, then I invite you to share it. Leave a comment below and tell me, which number resonated most deeply with you? Which message felt like it had your name on it? You never know who else might read your words and feel understood, encouraged, or seen. This space, right here in the comments, is not just for response sites for connection. I also want to take a heartfelt moment to thank you for being here, for opening your time and your heart to this message. Every like, every comment, every subscription is not just a digital action, it is an energetic exchange. And here at Eternal Mindfulness, we honor that. Your presence helps us keep sharing these messages of light, growth, and truth with those who are quietly seeking a moment of alignment in their day. So if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to the channel and giving this video a thumbs up. It allows us to grow this sacred space, and it lets us know that what we're offering is meaningful to you. And remember, Leo, you are not alone in this. You are part of a greater rhythm, one that is always inviting you deeper into your own wholeness. I'll leave you with this question. What would change in your life if you truly believed that the universe is already conspiring in your favor? Sit with that. Let it guide your next breath, your next step, your next act of courage. Until we meet again, may your days be filled with clarity, your choices guided by alignment, and your journey grounded in quiet joy. Thank you for walking this path with me. I'll see you in the next one.